Hey y'all, I'm Birdie and welcome to my channel. This is Clown Cows. This isn't a topic I ever thought I'd talk about, but here I am, reading this to my husband before I record it for all of you, and I'm watching his facial expressions or reactions because it feels rudimentary and weird to discuss, but also important and very necessary. Since my personal goal is to learn and to encourage myself and others to think deeply about things, here I am trying to make sense of whatever this is. I have to give you this disclaimer before we go any further. These are my thoughts and opinions based on my personal perceptions of events that I've observed. Nothing I say is fact. This is for entertainment purposes only. Trigger warning, this video discusses abuse of various kinds. Viewer and listener discretion is strongly advised. As a member of quote unquote Hater Nation, like all the others who are fellow haters, we have a strong disdain for Amber's behaviors. We are a group who stands against mistreatment toward others, whether it's people or animals. We contest greed, abuse, lies, manipulation, gaslighting, self-obsessiveness, being deliberately misled, and I think most would agree that we also won't tolerate homophobic or transphobic or other types of phobic behaviors towards others, as most of us are either part of those communities through self-involvement or because we have loved ones who fit the definitions of people in those communities, or just because we're not shitty people, so we generally accept others. However, I will say that I do recognize the God given and constitutional rights to have one's own views and own ideas, even if they differ from the ideas of the majority. That being said, I want to talk today about how outrageous some people have become not toward their hatred of Amber per se, but toward their belief that if you hold another accountable other than Amber, you should be attacked or publicly challenged by the masses. Case in point, I recently commented on Oh Lordy It's Jordy's live stream, as I am a regular watcher because I love Jordy. And I commented that basically, although I agree Amber scratched up Emily's arm and bruised her, why are we forgetting what Emily allegedly did to Colleen? Within seconds, I was the enemy. And beyond being the enemy, I was Amber on a sock account. Really? So that means if someone dislikes Amber for being a horrible human, but if you also dislike someone associated with Amber for also being abominable, then you become the enemy. How does that stand to reason exactly? I think what surprised me the most was not that someone questioned the possibility that I was Amber, because every group is sure to have a troll, an idiot, or a conspiracy theorist. But it was surprising that there was absolutely zero evidence to lead them to believe that I was Amber, other than me saying that Emily was still shitty for the events that played out with Colleen, and that not one, not two, but several people jumped aboard the Birdie is Amber bandwagon. There was even one person who defended Emily's alleged actions that supposedly contributed to Colleen's early demise by saying essentially that Colleen was already a heaping mountain of shit before she met Emily, so it's not Emily's fault. Are you fucking kidding me? I could not believe that someone said that. Why do we have to hate one and love the other one, though? Why can't we be so fucking for real and say that both of those women are total pieces of shit for what they've done to others? It's like some people in Goral world don't have the capacity to look objectively at something, but instead believe that if Amber is associated with someone, anyone, even a feeder with an atrocious history, that frankly makes me fighting mad. Some people simply aren't capable of recognizing individual shittiness, and they can't see past their valid hatred for Amber to allow themselves that there can be more than one bad guy or more than one enemy. Two people can each win a prize for being horrible. It doesn't just have to be Amber. I think we all have it in our hearts to hate more than one person, and as funny or ridiculous as that sounds, it's true. It's okay to hold contempt or disdain or hatred or dislike of more than one person if more than one person has behaved in a way that warrants those feelings. But how do we determine what reasonably warrants specific feelings like those? Well, I'd say typically by looking at that person's behavior and judging it against what we collectively, as a modern society, consider to be within moral grounds. For example, hurting people or hurting animals, whether it's physical or emotional, or playing mind games for the purpose of controlling another, we don't consider those things to be okay because those actions defy what we consider fair or just. I think one of the reasons this is so surprising is because so many of us are current professionals, or we were at least previously trained in specific areas of study relevant to medical or mental health, which greatly pertains to Girl World. For example, I was once an advocate, I was once a paralegal, and I went on to study psychology for 8 years. I am not licensed, nor am I practicing, but that doesn't mean that I don't still use the education that I gained through that training, or that I'm incapable of critical thought. I always say that I'm an expert in nothing, but that doesn't mean that I'm an idiot in everything either. As humans, whether we're current practitioners or not, we should be able to take our gained knowledge and apply it to various situations. How can a large group of supposed professionals somehow become blind to rationale or reason? And I think that's my question for today. As a group, are we capable of seeing what's right and wrong within an individual, or is Hater Nation becoming all or nothing? While I'm on this topic, I'm also going to quickly bring this up as well. It's the situation where Amber said that Casey never touched her in the way that many said equated to SA. Although I 100% believe that Amber is a bold fucking liar with what she accused Casey of, I was concerned that so many, again, supposed professionals, thought that SA meant he would have had to penetrate her in one way or another, and that very few, if anyone at all, recognized that some SA victims are forced to perform acts on others and are never touched. This happens a lot with victims of human trafficking. I think this is so extremely dangerous, that whole thought process, and that type of black and white thinking poses a potential threat to us all. Plus, it undermines the trauma of victims who were forced into doing things that they did not want to do but felt to protect their lives they had to. Let's please not be part of that group. And just to reiterate, because I know someone's going to misinterpret me, I do not believe that Casey forced Amber into anything, and I do not believe he SA'd her. But I do think that situation and what I believe to be Amber's lies about it have shed light on and opened the door to vital conversations because too many experts are positioning themselves on public platforms that they believe SA is an exclusive one-way street, but it's not. So, to sum up my views, I'm concerned at the ignorance some alleged experts are publicly displaying, the inability to see two wrongs, and the black and white thinking of if one person is bad, then the other person has to be good, as well as the apparent misconception of SA and how many forms it can take. I personally don't want to be part of that group that blindly follows, or a group that somehow forgets the knowledge and training and becomes so tunnel focused on the hatred of one that we find ourselves cheering for another enemy of our moral compass. But what do you guys think? Do you see bad where bad exists? Good where good exists? Black, white, gray, and all the other colors that make up life? Or do you believe it's sometimes justified to overtly villainize one and praise another, even when the other is just as bad? Maybe to some, by villainizing both, it decreases the impact of the bad that the original person did. I don't know. Help me understand that thought process because it's completely baffling to me. Anyway, I hope you all have a great weekend. I will be working on another video and I'll try to have it up before too long, probably early to mid next week. I hope that you're all safe, loved, secure, and happy, and I will see you all again soon. Let me know your comments down below and let's have an open discussion about this. Bye for now.